Hello and greetings, peace, salam, namaste, aloha, and all the other ways to invoke greetings of peace to each of you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining the first LILA Open Salon. My name is Omar.
I'm Amira. Welcome.
We're the creators and the stewards of LILA, and we've been looking forward to this for a long time for many reasons. To share beautiful art from very deep places within the people who have submitted their offerings to the LILA Open Call. But more than that, we've been looking forward to this to just connect with like-minded, like-hearted people from around the world who love the divine and like to express that love for the divine through their art. And however that looks, whatever language that is expressed in, whatever form that it takes, we welcome it, we celebrate it, we uplift it. So thank you for being here. We're so excited to meet you and connect with you. And yeah, for the next 90 minutes, we're going to go on a journey all the way from California to Tokyo, Japan, to Toronto, to Bangladesh. Um, and it's just a beautiful thing that we have the technology and the means to be able to weave this together. So before speaking too much more or giving an introduction about LILA, we want to begin with an invocation. So we will begin with a short performance by our dear friend who we've gotten to know this past week, Winter Jendehai, who is a ceremonialist, musician, and guide, whose work is rooted in the wisdom of her African, Cherokee, Celtic, and Italian ancestry. Winter weaves together sacred song, ceremony, and traditional healing practices to support transformation, remembrance, and spiritual alignment. We really invite you all to check her music out, specifically her debut album called Hilos Sagrados, which is an offering of original songs born from prayer, healing, and ancestral memories. She's also a certified yoga teacher, spiritual doula, and co-founder of Nawabu Culture, which is a nonprofit supporting indigenous leaders and healing traditions specifically from the Amazon. And she was one of our selections for this open call under the music category. So please welcome us in, join us in welcoming Winter, who will be sharing this beautiful offering with us.
Thank you so much. Espíritu. Pachamama, taita en ti, Nana Metzli, Gran Espíritu, Mother, Father, Son, Grandmother Moon, Great Spirit, Ahu, 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 Thank you so much. Giving gratitude to the elements and the directions and all the guardians in each of the directions that support us all in the great wheel of life all around the world and all the places. So thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. 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 Goosebumps all over. Yeah. Would love to hear from friends in the chat. How did that land for you? What sensations did you experience during that? I know for me, just chills and yeah, thank you for really invoking those blessings to begin our gathering. And again, please check out Winter's work. We just put some links to her album as well as her website. And yeah, really looking forward to continuing. Stephanie said, I danced. Mackenzie said, it felt like truth and understanding the words without understanding the words. Sydney said, deep connection with you all. Thank you, Winter. Blessings.
Yeah, so I just wanted to welcome you all again. Welcome to our very first open salon. This is a space intended to celebrate devotional artwork of all kinds and forms. When we opened our open call, when we launched our open call a couple months ago now, we had no idea who was going to submit. We had no idea what we were going to receive through it. And we were truly blown away by the community's offerings. We received over 500 works across many categories, and from, I think it was up to 75 countries. And so it was a really, really beautiful weaving of devotion expressed through so many different forms. And we were truly honored to get to review all of those and immerse ourselves in it. Every one of the pieces that were submitted were sort of I don't know if graded is the right word, but like we assess them based on the artistic integrity, the devotional essence, personal resonance, the alignment with LILA. And, there was a bunch of different ways that we needed to kind of create in order to assess all this beautiful work. And we went through a process where we were 5 judges, I believe, 6 judges, going through multiple categories and reviewing all of the artwork. And so it was a very, very beautiful and an intense process. And we came out with selections in each of these categories as well as honorable mentions. And honestly, it was very hard.
Mhm.
It was very difficult narrowing down to just a handful of selections and even a handful of honorable mentions. But in this salon, our intention is to feature those artists. And so Winter is the first one that we were featuring that you just heard from, her beautiful invocation. And we want to go through a journey of featuring many of these artists. Of course, we won't be able to feature all of them in one session. So this is just the first salon of hopefully many to come. Um, yeah. Is there anything you want to share about LILA in
Yeah,
general?
just to kind of zoom out and share with you all what inspired the birth of LILA. Uh, it was created 7 years ago, um, and it really came from my own personal experience of, for me, dance has always been a medium for connection. I discovered a practice, sort of a movement meditation practice called Five Rhythms about 13 years ago. And it was the first time that I experienced connection to that higher power through an artistic medium. And for me, that was through movement, through dance. And since then, having discovered other movement dance forms, such as the Sufi whirling dervish practice, that is something that is very dear to our hearts. Uh, yeah, we just have been unpacking and researching how have cultures around the world express their longing and their love for that higher power, where art is at the center of their practice, where art is at the center of their communion, where art is at the center of their rituals. Because growing up, for me, the idea of prayer and worship, it looked a very particular way. We weren't sort of taught or shown that actually there are so many ways that we can worship the creator, the great mystery. And it doesn't need to necessarily be limited to just very few forms. And this is our belief and our sort of value, is that there are many rivers to the one infinite ocean. There are many ways to connect with that one essence. And how beautiful to celebrate those many ways rather than claiming that my way is the way and the best way. And that's no judgment for anybody who might feel that or believe that. But at LILA, the space that we want to hold is one of curiosity, and a loving curiosity, and a genuine desire to understand each culture's way of expressing that longing and that love for the higher power. And to celebrate our commonality, but also to celebrate our differences. It's okay that we have differences. It's actually beautiful that we have differences, difference in language, difference in textiles and clothing, difference in our cosmological worldview of things. Like, let's bring all of that together in this space of curiosity. So, yeah, LILA began as a documentary series. We really wanted to document these traditions. The first one was in Morocco when I first traveled to Morocco and heard Gnawa music. It is a sacred spiritual music from originally West Africa that then traveled up to Morocco and mixed with the Sufi tradition. When I first heard it, I was blown away, and I just felt more people need to know about this tradition. And so myself and a friend, Alex, who's a filmmaker, we then traveled again to Morocco to make a short film. And that's what sparked this idea of a series, the LILA series, a series of documentaries where each episode travels to a particular culture and documents their sacred arts practices. And as we started to release those films, we've made two now, one in Morocco and then the other one in Turkey, about Rumi and the whirling dervish tradition. But as we released those films, people that watched them, the response was beautiful, and people said, I want to go to those places and actually experience it in person. And so that's what sparked the journeys that we lead. We take people to those countries as well. So every year we go to Morocco and we go to Turkey for anybody who actually wants to experience those traditions and practices. And we were preparing to make our third film. We were really inspired by a particular tradition in West Bengal, India, the Bal mystics of West Bengal. And they're an amazing group of people, sort of a hybrid of Sufi mysticism and Hindu mysticism, sort of brought together. And we were starting to make preparations to travel there, but we had other projects going on, and it just felt like a lot to continue to do this. And so instead we said, why do we need to be the ones that are creating all of this material? Instead, what if we opened this platform up and invited other artists and creatives who are creating from this intersection of art and spirituality? Let's see who's out there. And sure enough, yeah, that's what birthed the inspiration for the open call. And sure enough, one of the submissions was a film about the Bal mystics of West Bengal. And it was incredible. And it was like, if we were to make the film, we wish that it could be as good as what they created. And they were one of our selections, Raghav and Ava, really amazing couple, and yeah, filmmakers who we will hopefully feature during the next salon. So anyway, that's where we are now with LILA. We just wanted to give you all this background and let you know that this is the direction we want to move in. And more than anything, we're interested in building community and really celebrating the sacred through the many rivers. And so, yeah, please join us on this quest. And as Amita said, hopefully this will be the first of many salons. And so, yeah, now we'll continue with our next offering. Yeah, let's jump on the caravan and now travel to Tokyo, Japan, where we will now welcome two friends that we've just met who we feel such a strong connection with, Junpei and Yoshika, who are the visionaries behind Sophia, which is a cultural and spiritual arts initiative dedicated to weaving together the ancient wisdom traditions of East and West through music, ritual, and community. Sophia grew out of their earlier project, which was called the Silk Road Japan, which hosted events and concerts focused on the co-creation and exchange of traditional arts between Japan and the wider world. Today, as Sophia, their work continues, and it's rooted in the belief that wisdom is carried in ancestral traditions, spiritual lineages, and sacred music, and it has the power to reconnect us to the deeper harmony of life. So now we're going to share a snippet from their concert, which was their submission for the open call. It was this recording of a beautiful concert, which features 9 traditional musicians from Japan. And yeah, the performance explores the 5 elements. And it's a concept that, of course, is shared across many cultures as a pathway toward unity in a post-pandemic world. After the video, we're going to get to meet Yoshika and Junpei, and they'll have a special offering for us, which we're really looking forward to. We hope you enjoyed that little snippet from their beautiful performance. We really recommend that you watch it. We're going to put a link in the chat to it to see the full piece. But yeah, welcoming the both of you, Junpei and Yoshika. Thank you so much for being here. We know it's late in Tokyo, so thank you for staying up. Yeah, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Omar. Hello, I'm Yoshika, joining from Tokyo. So today, together with Junpei, we are co-directing in Sofia. Thank you for inviting us today, and we are so delighted to be part of the LILA community, and so honored that our work has been selected as one of the open call future selections.
Yeah, hello. So nice to meet you all. I'm Junpei. I'm Japanese traditional music gagaku player. And gagaku is Japanese court music, and it is the oldest orchestra in the world. The main essence of gagaku is harmony. Harmony with nature, harmony with cosmos. And I will be sharing a short music offering later. Yeah.
So Junpei and I have been doing offerings at the temples and the shrines around Japan. And so that's the fundamental energy of creating in Sophia, non-profit organization for cultural initiatives. So we engaged in various activities to bridge the world based on the wisdom and memories contained in the culture, tradition, and spirituality around the world. So En Sophia's En means in Japanese, circle, gathering, connectedness, and enlightenment. So we combined the word and created En Sophia. So we believe that the sound of universal harmony exists when the diverse traditional music collaborated together. It's like celebrating the sacredness of the world. So now I'd like to talk about the documentary you just watched, a live concert we created in 2020 with 9 musicians of traditional instruments from Japan and the world, including India, Persia, and Arab. The concept was understand diversity and exploring reconnection through musical and cultural dialogue in a fragmented world in the midst of the pandemic. And the theme was 5 elements, as Omar has kindly explained. It was a common concept in a European continent in pursuit of the universal connectedness that transcends different culture and belief for unity. So we love to connect with you and the people around the world through music, dance, art, and spirituality, so that can express deep root of humanities and prayers. So now Junpei will share the music offering. Before that, I will briefly talk about gagaku, the Japanese court music. So gagaku was brought to Japan from the Silk Road about 1,300 years ago and was blended with the ancient music of Japan and passed down to the current age. So it registered as UNESCO's intangible cultural heritage. And gagaku is usually played at ceremonies of Japanese shrines and temples and imperial court, as gagaku is a music for prayers to govern the nation in peace. So gagaku orchestra, there is no conductor in the orchestra, and musicians don't even make eye contact. They just feel each other's breath and play in harmony. So now I'll pass on to Junpei.
Yes. Thank you, Yoshika. Yes. This instrument is called the sho. It is played in the orchestra of gagaku, and this shape of this instrument represents the Asian legend bird Ho-Oh, like the phoenix. The shape is like resting its wings, and its sound is also like the Ho-Oh's voice. And it also represents light from light shining from the heavens, and or sound from cosmos. So the piece I will play now is the first part of a traditional piece called Hyōjō no Chōshi. Since this piece is a very prestigious one, so it is often performed in ceremonies at shrines and temples. So now please enjoy. Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you could get the feel of Gagaku and Japanese spirituality. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Junpei and Yoshika. That was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing this ancient, sacred tradition with us. It really pierced through. And I just love the image that comes with the Silk Road, a time where, you know, borders were not what they are now, and people were free to move around and share their love and share their culture, their sound with others, and how each one of those cultures was enriched by that sharing. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's so beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. Yes. Yeah.
Great to be there.
So up next, we have a visual artist, Ida Kader. So Ida is originally from Sri Lanka, and she's currently based in Dhaka, Bangladesh. She specializes in Islamic geometric ornamentation, and her work blends traditional techniques with contemporary aesthetics in order to explore themes of mysticism, sacred symbolism, and cultural heritage. Now, I've seen a lot of Islamic geometry pieces over the years, having spent a lot of time in different Muslim countries around the world. But I will say, you know, the first piece that I saw of Ida's from her project, which is titled A Journey Through the Spirit, had a movement about it that invited a different kind of contemplation and connection. Her portfolio is a visual pilgrimage inspired by Sufi wisdom and sacred geometry, and it merges spiritual insight with artistic precision. And so I just want to invite Ida to come up and share. I will share some of her work on the screen, but to share with us her process and a little bit about the project that she submitted. Hello, Ida.
Hello. Hello.
Hi.
Okay. Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you. Thank you once again for sharing my work on your platform. That was incredible experience. I had to meet this huge community of like-minded people. It's incredible. So for me, I would say geometry is my meditation. When I sit and do geometry, it's like being in that space where nothing else matters. When I take the compass and keep the point on the paper, it's so significant because the point is what we would consider the divine unity. It is mirroring the divine unity of Allah, as we would say. And when we take the point and move it across the line, across the paper, we get the first line. And the first line, the radius, is what we would consider the pen or the first intellect. And from that first intellect, we make the first circle, which is the circumference is considered the universal soul. It is from this universal soul that all other manifestations come, and we keep keeping the point on that first circle, which is again reflecting, mirroring what the whole process of emanation. And when we even do the circles from the compass, we do it counterclockwise to go back to the return to from where we came. Like when we do tawaf around the Kaaba, we go counterclockwise. So this idea of placing the point, taking the line, going counterclockwise is this form of moving backwards and returning to a place where we are able to witness something or try to witness something. So Islamic geometric art is full of symbolism. It is profoundly spiritual in this modern world with so many contemporary ideology. I find geometry still holds the power of beauty and harmony, which is like the core essence of Islamic art, because you want to still keep those elements, because we believe that Allah loves beauty and He is beautiful. So these ideas of beauty and harmony and balance is the cornerstone and principle of Islamic geometric patterns. So this particular selection of work that I submitted for LILA was something that I really thought through, because most of the paintings were done last year, and I focused around the spiritual Sufi practices in Sri Lanka. I come from a family of Shadili Tariqa. My husband is from Qadiri. So we've grown up with these Sufi rituals, culture, but I wanted to, through my geometry, to create a visual vocabulary so that a picture speaks 1,000 words, right? So that when you see a picture, you would understand a Sufi metaphysical terminology. And because I've read about these and listened to so many of these ideas, I wanted to find the geometry and the patterns and the way the paint is applied to create that understanding. So this first one, I would say this is considered kashf. Kashf is unveiling of yourself. The divine is visible. It's just that we are veiled, so we have no access, so we cannot see. So it's from the Bahauddin Naqshbandi mausoleum. They have some beautiful ceiling decorations. And this pattern is based on the five-fold system, which is the five-fold we would consider in Islamic sacred geometry is the number for the universe. And when I was trying to paint this, I kept thinking, how would Kashf feel like? And for me, it would feel like probably like a nebula or something in the cosmic realm, because again, we have this idea of what's above, so below. So this is how I created it, had this layering effects. So it felt like different layers are moving to unveil ourselves to be able to witness the divine. And okay, so this is another one, it's called Marifa. Marifa is your transcendent stages. This is again from the Naqshbandi mausoleum in Samarkand. So in Sufi philosophy, we have different stages, and I kept this dual concept where there's one pattern on top and another pattern on the bottom to give that visual vocabulary that you just move from one to the other. And yes, okay, so this is an interesting concept. I don't know how many of you all are aware of Ibn Arabi's teachings, but Ibn Arabi, most of his work is available in English. So it's really incredible, his thought process. So it may be a little controversial, but Ibn Arabi said that, or he believed that the people of hellfire will eventually stop feeling the torment once they come to stop rebelling and come to understand that God is with them, and even though they're in hell. So what I did with this pattern is from his mausoleum in Damascus. So what I did is I burnt the edges of that one. Okay, yeah, I burnt the edges of the painting, so that would create like the edges of the hellfire. And different colors and distresses are used. And the ones that there is gold is symbolizing that even though you are in hell, you are coming out of that process of torment, because you are understanding that there's no need to rebel, that the divine love is everywhere, whether it's in heaven or hell, or as Ibn Arabi said, the place doesn't matter. It's just that understanding and accepting your closeness to the divine. Yeah, so if we move to the other one, yeah, so this is Majmul Bahrain. I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the story of Surah Kaf in the Quran. It is this idea that Musa and Khidr met. So Musa, Prophet Moses, was considered the lawgiver. He was someone who understood the laws and what the faculties of the intellect. But when he met Khidr, Khidr was able to see things that Moses couldn't understand. And this interplay of color between the blue and the brown and the merging of the two in certain places is to give that visual contrast of the seen and unseen, what the intellect can grasp, what the intellect cannot grasp. And this is also from the mausoleum of Abdul Qadir Jailani. There is a beautiful mirror mosaic that when I was researching these patterns, that I completely fell in love, and I thought I'll take that pattern. And if we go to the next one, yeah, so this is also an interesting concept that I think Ibn Arabi really drove home, because he believed that the barzakh is the state of the imagination, which as artists, I think we can all resonate to that, because when we are in this state of the imagination, we don't use our sensory faculties to create. We dive deep into ourselves to create something that the sensory faculties would not really be able to comprehend. So Ibn Arabi said, like, the barzakh is this in between stage where, like, your dream state, the state after death. It's like when the sea hits the shore, the twilight, you know, those moments where it's in that gray area, and where things are not formed, but spirit is also able to go inside. So if this was the barzakh for me, I would say the gray area is what we can see with our senses. But if we go inside the barzakh, we'll realize that it's all color, but it's just that our senses aren't able to pick that up. So to see the color, we have to use our imaginal faculties that the senses don't give us and create that. So yeah, that is based on Ibn Arabi's concept of, okay, so this is a very interesting, because I've grown up with my family Shadili. So we have this halara where the men would stand in circles and they would perform zikr. So I did this pattern. It's from Atarin Madrasa in Fez, where Abu Hassan al-Shadili came from. And there are little circles where I have put in white, just to show that moment, you know, when they come in circles and they do Allah, 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 that zikr. For me, I felt, without just painting everything, because the pattern is there irrespective, but I highlighted these moments of this white and gold just to capture that moment of zikr when they're doing the hadara. And it's in different colors also to show that each one, even if they are performing it, is in different states. So you can be still in a very earthly state in brown, or you could have transcended to a gold state. So these colors just to show that when you're in that play of zikr, that you can, different people will have different transcendence while they're performing. And I found this, just bringing out certain circles, yeah, would give that movement of the hadara. And yeah, if I go to the next one, okay, the one before, just the one before, okay. So Hula is again from Ibn Sina's concept of matter. So that's why I kept it to the primary colors, because Ibn Sina said, you know, hule is before things come into form. The matter, the hule comes, takes form, and then you get something that is of this world. So this is just like a process of the primary matter in that process of taking shape. So I have kept the primary colors to understand the idea of primary matter in that process of creating form. And this is very much in understanding with Ibn Sina's concepts of primary matter and form. And if I was to go to the next one, okay, so in Sri Lanka, we have following of those who follow this, the Rifai Ratib, and the Rifai Zikr is very excessive because they have this practice of body piercing. They would walk on fire. They would handle snakes. So I have seen this as a child. I have witnessed this. And so the pattern is from the Rifai Mosque in Cairo, where some of the practitioners are buried there. So I put a little bit of red there just to show, sometimes even though they do this piercing and there is no bleeding or none of that happens, well, maybe if you are not in the right state, you could bleed. So that's why even though it's beauty or harmony, I just add a dash of red to remind what kind of practice they do. And if you're not in that state of with the divine, things can go a little wrong and you can have some injuries. So that's a little lighter. And if I go to the next one, okay, fana is a very important concept in Sufism. I guess most people must be knowing this. So this is from the Chisti mausoleum in Afghanistan, where he founded the Chisti order. And of course, the Chisti order, though it was founded in Afghanistan, it really took root in India with Nizamuddin Auliya and the Qawwali movement and the Amir Khusro. But the concept of fana is this annihilation, that when you are able to let go of your nafs and your ego and everything that you take with yourself, you just get rid of it, and then you are able to clear the vessel, and then you would see the light. And that witnessing is kash, but clearing out everything of your ego and all your attachments is called fana. And it's a huge principle in Sufi philosophy. So I wanted this, the colors coming out. And I think it kind of, some places are in gold foil work, which resonates that moments of annihilation and fana. And in Sufi philosophy, there's fana and baka. So you let go, and then you also come back to the world. So there's fana and baka. And this is that moment of letting go and surrendering and complete annihilation of your ego and your nafs and everything that ties you down to we can move to the next one, So the next one is from a screen in Rumi's mausoleum. And it's the 6-point star. So the 6-point star is this concept of as above, so below. So we have like this integrated triangles, which has from the divine transcendence to the earthly plane, and from the earthly plane, the ascendance to the divine. So that's what the 6-4 symmetry symbolizes. And this idea of these 3 states of water, earth, and the 3 modes. I just thought I'll do it within one pattern, but give diversity in these different modes as the spirit in the practice of the Mevlana's whirling, that the soul tends to translate from the material plane into the subliminal plane to the divine, you know. So that is what I was trying to get. That's how I put the colors. So kalb, yes, kalb is again from Yusuf ibn Kaisari's tomb. And well, you know, the kalb is the heart, and it's always, you know, entangled and dark, and it's this constant struggle to break free from this entanglement. I think the picture says it. It feels chaotic, it feels all muddled up, it feels dark, but the struggle to cleanse it, to move forward, yes, that is kalb, and that is what the state of the heart is, and how we would want to process in letting go these attachments and moving towards something that is of benefit, you know, real benefit. Okay. Yes, this is again this whole idea of this is where certain areas are in gold, that shows this alchemical transition from base metal to gold. So this whole process in medieval Islamic philosophy, where base metal was turned to gold, is also a very Sufi tradition. So it is the heart, you know, you remove the detachment, you remove anything from this detachments, try and create that alchemy of gold. And yeah, this is representing that. This pattern is in Baghdad, is in Mosul, and during the ISIS, when Mosul was captured by ISIS, they apparently destroyed this mausoleum. So that's quite sad that we may not have the actual pieces anymore, and what we have is like photo reference. This is Abdul Ansari. He is from Afghanistan. He created one of the first people to create a Persian devotional literature in the vernacular language, so that people could have this dialogue with God without always having this dialogue in Arabic. So he was one of the first who created devotional poetry in Persian and the vernacular language, and that it was groundbreaking, because after him, so many others, from Amar Khusro to everybody, started using their vernacular language to produce poetry and devotional dialogues. And this piece was actually commissioned by Turquoise Mountain Trust, and they wanted to make it into a carpet. It hasn't gone into production yet, but I'm looking forward to it. So let's see, and the next one. Okay, so this is again from this idea of light and shadow is all over Sufism. So shadow does not really mean that you're devoid of light. The idea the shadow exists is because there is light. So the light creates the shadow. So in Sufi philosophy, this idea of light and shadow is the light creates the shadows. The shadow is needed. It's not darkness. So this painting is done with indigo and walnut ink, and I wanted to not to have these colors like light and shadow too contrasted, but to bring it to a sense that shadow is a part of the light, and it's not devoid of light. So you get shadows with light. So yeah, so this again is made into a carpet, and I think they will unveil it in the UK probably next month. So I'm looking forward to see how it looks as a carpet, because truly Islamic art is fundamentally not something you put up in a painting in a wall. It is always been a functional form of art, whether it's a prayer rug, whether it's a carpet, whether it's a cup, a plate. Islamic art has always had that ability to move from design and painting into a functional piece. And the fact that this is now made into a carpet out of weavers out of Afghanistan is so symbolic for me. It is like the tradition is still alive. So yeah, do we have more time or can we? Okay, so okay, we can go back. If you can go one back.
I think we have time for maybe one or two more.
Okay, okay.
You
So
let me
this is,
know if you want to talk about it.
okay. So this is silsila. Silsila is in a Sufi tradition, you have your chain of narrators. So you go back from whatever tariqah you follow, you have the chain going back to the Prophet, to Ali. So this pattern is resembling these, feels like Celtic knots. Uh, but it's Islamic pattern, and it represents that the unbroken chain that you are today following a particular tariqah, but the tariqah goes back to the Prophet and Ali and what they imparted, both the secret, the ihsan, the knowledge that is not in the Sharia, the way we practice devotionally to get close to Allah. And if we go to the next one. Okay, so this is also representing our detachment of the nafs. The nafs is something that ties us to this earth, our attachments, our greed, our ego, especially the ego. I think it's crazy, but art is all about the ego, and then we're trying to filter the ego out through the art. So it's a little bit of a contradiction. But yeah, this again is like a visual vocabulary to understand what detachment would look like, So we have very distinctive patterns on the top here where you clearly see it, and then by the end of it, when it goes to the bottom here, all the colors kind of merge, and there is individuality, but still it is in that process of letting go of your individual self, letting go of your things that you feel proud or feel egoistic about. So this is that concept of letting go. And is there more? Is there another one? Okay. So that was the journey, and that collection was specifically around the Sufi philosophy and Sufi ideologies, and trying to put it into a visual vocabulary so that even if you don't know much, you could understand and see the painting, and a picture speaks 1,000 words, and kind of get the essence of the art. Okay.
A round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Really inspiring and in awe of the level of detail. And, as students of the Sufi path ourselves, to see the visualization of these concepts that we have been learning for many years, and just to see that in visual form it's stunning. So
Thank you.
doing amazing work. Wow, the carpets are going to be
I can't wait to see those.
And I really love what you said about Islamic art being functional, and that
It is. It's always, because I think Christian art is something where you have an icon painting and you keep it on a wall, you don't touch. But Islamic art is this whole concept of everything around you is beautiful. You are beautiful. You impart beauty, and it has to be part of your living area, your functioning. It's always been that. It's not something you keep in a distance and look, you use it. And so the carpets is the most sacred thing I feel in Islamic art, apart from architecture and Islamic architecture.
we want to provide a link to your work in the chat for anybody who wants to follow up and dive a bit deeper into Ida's work. We're looking forward to getting to know you more, Ida, and
Thank you.
you for just, yeah, for the work that you're doing. Yeah, if anybody just wants to drop in the chat what that collection stirred up for them, we would love to hear it and read it. But yeah, we're gonna now move on to our final offering of this salon. And we're very happy to now introduce a writer into this constellation, Sydney Searchwell Simpson, based in Toronto, Canada, Turtle Island. Sydney is a spiritual activist, writer, speaker, artist, and performative storyteller whose work bridges spirituality and cultural transformation. At the heart of her offerings is an invitation to remember and reconnect with who we are beyond what she calls domination consciousness. Her life and the creations that flow from it serve as a living invitation to restore honorable relationship within ourselves, with other humans, and beyond humans, with the earth, and with the sacred mystery in which we are all embedded. She shares timely wisdom and her emergent process of becoming another way beyond domination on her podcast and newsletter called Sacred Pathways, Stories and Wisdom from Walking the Heart's Way. So welcoming you, dear Sydney, thank you for being here, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Omar and Amira, for this whole process, for creating such a beautiful sacred space, and for having the courage to walk the journey that allowed this to be one of the fruits that I'm sure will just continue to unfold. Yeah, I arrive here open, and I arrive here open because that is the path in which I chose and chose me to learn what it is to live in this world with an open heart, which necessitates surrender, which necessitates devotion. And what's beautiful about this path is that it has led me to what is universal, and how the universal expresses themselves through distinction. And what I love about spaces like this is that I get to see the uniqueness that the divine decided to express through Islam, or through medicine songs rooted deep in the Amazon, or through sacred music in Japan. It expands my love and my devotion and my decision to walk that path of surrender to living with an open heart. And so that is where my poetry emerges. Yeah, it holds the medicine that I think we need at this time, which is the medicine of love. And whatever my poetry sparks in you is just a remembrance of the medicine that is seated within each and every single one of us. And so I hope that you can receive it with open hearts. So the first piece I'll read is a piece called Union. And this piece was actually inspired by an event I went to. My friend invited me to an event at her mosque where they were reading the poetry of Rumi alongside the ney flute, which is a very prominent instrument in a variety of Muslim countries, in Egypt and Turkey, throughout Persia. And I tried to express what it was for me to be an artist that wants to be a channel for the divine, and that beautiful dance that we all exist in. So this one is Union. Sing me the song of remembrance, the life that you once knew before you offered yourself as a carrier of breath for the flutist. The flutist sings through you their song of life, and through the sacred giving of their breath, they meet your offering, giving life to the form that you know yourself to be. That song of life received sweetly through your union is but a remembering of the beloved, What is a creator's responsibility to that which wishes to be created, to that which already knows its fullest form and awaits the accepted invitation, a meeting of breath to birth something greater than either? Sing me that sweet hymn of devotion, the flutist and the ney, in movement with the shared knowing that neither can be fully without the offering of the other. And so that's union. The next poem I'll read for you is called Walk the Earth. It's a poem that came through me around just over 2 years ago when I began to consciously choose to walk the path that the sacred mystery has invited me into since I came onto this planet. And for me, this speaks to the courage it takes to surrender to something that has no name but has a presence that's so deeply felt. And so this one is Walk the Earth. Lightly and with humility, I stumble into surrender's grasp and find comfort in the freedom to not know and choose still to tread my path. Possibilities behoove me to live the curiosities unburdened by the weight of fixed answers to life's persistent questions. The forest is dark and deep, but in them lie those who know how to navigate the depths of the earth, root down and grow beyond the seed. There is a freedom beyond fear, doubts, and worries to trust with completeness that the magic life yearns to give begins where your feet rest, on the edge of uncertainty. You'll be delighted to find that each step you take is curated by the divine to nurture the soil that holds the seed's potential, a strengthening of love, the prospect of revival. So walk forward boldly, tired, scared, or weary, and trust that the answer, great tricksters, is your journey. They rest not at the end as a yearned for destination. They tread the path with you, guiding you through your evolution. So decide, with a heart full of courage and a mind so free, to walk beyond the edge and join spirit's laughter in uncertainty. So I have 2 more if we have time. One of them is a poem I actually wrote last year around my 26th birthday. And I was really sitting with experiencing the divine most potently in the present moment, where everything is happening everywhere. When I think about how every single one of us who are gathered in this room have their unique, beautiful experience. And it's all happening right here, right now. And to me, the present moment just is the divine. The present moment is one of the ways in which the divine expresses themselves. And this was many ways a poem given to me as a teacher about eternity and the infiniteness of the divine. And what I love about this space and what I'm seeing even in this event is how there is oneness, there's universality, but we can't know that oneness and universality unless we have the distinctions that just give us a sliver of just how expansive that is. So this is my first time reading it, so this is very exciting. This poem is called Eternity Happens. By the roots of the Indian rubber tree, I sat. I sat until she came to me. And when she came, she sat with me. And her silence invited me to be with her in each moment as it came. I felt myself. I felt her too. And we watched a new leaf fall, kissing the ground for the first time. It has a new home now, in soil changed by the rearranging of fire ants and the path making of worms and the expanding footprint of humans. The sun sets here as it rises over there, and there goes the moon. They court each other across the heavens, marking time as a certainty in the field of eternity. And the earth's forests fill with rain, while the desert's heat offers its balance to the way of things. Somewhere, a mother holds her child for the first time to her heart, and the child recognizes the music of their first home. Somewhere, another mother wails over her child lost to human tragedy, be it war, hunger, starvation, and water flows all ways. A first breath is taken as a last breath is endured. Lovers embrace as lovers must part ways. A nest is built from remains of fallen trees as seeds are planted, as seeds begin to sprout. Laughter is shared and grief is awakened, and the vastness of space expands where it is promised one day to contract. And mountains of ice and sulfur, or rivers pooling with mercury, form while others melt or are swallowed by the promise that a star born is a star that must also die. As my lungs mirror the pattern of universal intelligence, I sit while she shows me the way of things. Her hands rest before me, weaving a web in an eternal instant, complete and unfolding. By the roots of the Indian rubber tree, I am left to wonder where it all ends and another begins, when it is all happening here, within and beyond this only moment. So that's Eternity Happens. And I'll close with a final poem. This one is titled Dance With Me. And I wrote this poem when I had already chosen, okay, life, God, I surrender to you. What do you have to show me? And I was thinking a lot about karma, which is present in a lot of different traditions, most notably within Hinduism, and how I often felt in my experience, karma was a play between choice, and it wasn't this simplification of punishment and reward. I think karma is so much more complex to that. It's a dance with the choices that we make in our lives, and in reflecting back to the infinite, English is so funny, infiniteness of the divine. I thought about how it feels like the divine, the all-knowing, knows all possible choices, all possible causes, all possible effects, all possible outcomes, and is inviting us through our free will to dance, to see, what comes through with this play. So this is Dance With Me. We humans search like a thirst for relief from uncertainty. Oh, how some envy your cruel all-knowing. But are we as alone as we believe? Possibilities are endless, but so is our free will, gift or bondage, or both. I like to imagine the all-knowing delights in the play of our choice and impact, cause and effect in the endless stream of what could be. What will they choose? Come, dance with me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sydney, for those beautiful words and just transporting us into ourselves. So meaningful and yeah, just very honored and grateful that we get to be connected. And yeah, we really encourage y'all to check out her offerings as well as the podcast that we mentioned before, the Sacred Pathways podcast. And keep it up. Keep doing your thing. Keep diving in, Sydney. You have so much to share with the world. We feel that. And in Arabic, we have a phrase, khitamuhu misk, which means like a sweetness for the ending. And so these words were really that sweetness to complete our first salon. So yeah, thank you all for just being a part of this and joining. We hope that your hearts are a little bit more open and inspired, and that you feel part of a web beyond time and space, but that there are creators and people around this beautiful earth that are sharing in this wavelength, this frequency of unity. And we really look forward to continuing to gather, hopefully in person one day, inshallah. And we do want to take a few minutes to open up the space to hear some other voices. If anybody would like to just say hi, introduce yourself, and maybe what brings you into this gathering, what got stirred up for you during these shares that people came and offered us today. What's alive for you? It would be great to hear from you, meet you. And if you do need to go, thank you again for being here. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. But we really would love to meet some of y'all. So yeah, just sort of an informal space for the next 15 minutes to connect. Yeah, I see Verdaluz.
Yeah. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right. I only caught the last, our beautiful poet, Sydney. It was really touching me because of how much I'm in a journey of surrender right now. I'm also a poet and a musician, a classical guitarist, and ambient soundscape for meditation. Working really deeply with the names this year, the 99 names, and bringing those a lot into my poetry, very devotional poetry. And but I've recently been separated in this sort of governmental type of way from my partner in the UK, and it's really challenging. I'm currently in Italy, but I had been planning to be back with her, and she has a cancer diagnosis, and it's been a really deep journey of surrender with this separation and a lot of confusion of I guess my prayer right now and what I would love to feel from the group and just some energy is I work with the Bhagavad Gita a lot, and the idea of offering everything we do to Great Spirit, and just been having a lot of trouble getting perspective on what's happening right now, and none of it makes sense in the moment, and trying to understand how I can see it a year from now or 5 or when I die. And so patience and yasabur is really strong in my chants, in my prayers right now, and that even in this moment of separation, that I'm not separate, and that we can offer up what's happening to God and to the Great Spirit and to Allah, and know that there's a bigger orchestration. I know that one of the things that I've learned is that Ya Hadi, the guide, and Ya Wali, the friend, the companion, is protecting us in ways that we never can see in our limited perspective. So that's my prayer right now, and it's a lot of my writing currently. And yeah, I would love to just share. I've been really seeking community. So if anyone would like to share or see more poetry or hear some music, I'd love to just put that in the chat, and we can stay in contact. So thank you again for hosting this, and I hope to continue to join and submit more work to the publication. Maybe it'll be accepted, and just be in the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And sending prayers of ease and patience and whatever support, greater support for your journey and for your loved ones. And yeah, the saying goes, truly with hardship comes ease. So praying for that ease to manifest for you. And yeah, looking forward to staying connected. Blessings. Sunny, would love to hear from you.
Hello everyone. This is Sunny Sandhu. I'm in France. I'm originally from Punjab. My I have many sacred traditions. From my father's side, we have descendants of Gorakhnath, a great mystic. My mother's side, I'm descendant of Bhagat Jalan Das. He's another mystic from the 17th century. And it's been an honor for me to meet all you guys from all different sacred traditions of the world, especially the Japanese couple. And then we had amazing poetry from Sydney and also from Aida. Aida's work really touched me profoundly because I live near the Silk Route in Tarantaran. And we come across these symbols, and as time has happened, the darkness has taken us away from these meanings because of the partition between India and Pakistan. A lot of Muslim traditions were forgotten in my land. So, so I grew up to be a medical doctor, but when I was in medical school, I just felt totally lost. And then I got in touch with this very great Sufi master. His name was Ustad Asad Ali Khan, and he used to teach Drupad and mystic traditions from northern India and Pakistan. And that's how I got initiated into this part of learning of the sacred geometry through sound. And then I started understanding these different states of beings, of all these different natures of conditions of people and society. And it's a very difficult time right now, and we need spaces like this. We need to connect and share that the world is still full of sacred light and joy. And I'm in France. I make lots of music. I work with great people here. I work with people all around the world. So people who are here, we are also part of something called Beyond Music. I don't know whether you know about Beyond Music. It's Beyond Music. Tina Turner created a platform called Beyond Music, which is a global platform for musicians to get together and make music. And it's a great project. So I'll mention it. So those who want to work on music and joining, this is a great platform.
Wonderful.
And I work a lot with Drupad. Drupad is a sacred music form from India, and it's very similar to Arabic mystic traditions, and it's a constant dialogue between cultures. I'm in constant dialogue, in spiritual dialogue with Western musical traditions of Hildegard the One Bingen here. And the world is infinite. There is sacred light everywhere. There is no place where there is no which is not sacred. So we should all go out and reach out and listen to other people and enjoy their cultures. And I would like to hear from Eva. She has got a little bird on her head. She's so cute. Hey, Eva, you look so awesome. Hello, my dear friend. Who's on top?
You're muted right now, Ava. Sunny, I just want to say thank you for introducing yourself, for sharing, and for that really important reminder that even when the media narrative tries to convince us that we are being swallowed by darkness, that there is still so much of this sacred light, like you mentioned, and that we must keep that flame strong, and that flame can strengthen, yes, within our own communities, but especially when we branch out and we start to meet people from very different communities than our own. That diversity, that exchange that happens strengthens the fire, strengthens that sacred light. So yeah, your words really touched me, and really looking forward to staying connected and checking out Beyond Music as well. Sounds very inspiring.
Yes, yes.
Hearing your work. Ava, please come through. Would love to hear from you.
So lovely to meet you all. I'm really grateful to be here with you. I feel so enlivened by gatherings like that are so diverse and so open. And it's exactly the wavelength I strive with, when we can come from any path and we share in that essence of the divine and the love of that and the essence of that. That's exactly what makes me so happy. So I'm super grateful for your initiative, and I have been evolving a very universal contemporary process of sacred art that is called embodiment as the one heart, and it's basically a creative practice where the oneness with life is directly expressed through spoken word and the body, and many different other art forms play into that, and people from many paths of life. So I'm very happy to be there and here, and I'm very interested in collaborations. And I was actually instantly seeing like films with your beautiful art, the beautiful poetry, and the beautiful music we heard, all playing together, complementing each other. So I could imagine like the most beautiful things coming out of this community. And thank you so much.
Thank you. And where are you calling from, Ava?
Bristol, UK.
Okay, awesome. And who's your friend that's jumping around your head right now?
Oh, he's called Roxy. Roxy has like been my guide through a very, very tough time in my life. And at the moment he has a really good bird friend now, but for the Zoom calls he still wants to be on me. It's literally for the Zoom calls he comes and hi. Yeah.
Well, Ava, it's really lovely to meet you, and looking forward to staying connected. And yeah, you are all inspiring us to, create spaces where real collaboration can also happen. We are obviously featuring these selections that were submitted to us, but to be honest, as we were going through the submissions, we had a similar insight that you just shared, Ava. We were like, oh, this musician and this filmmaker and this poet, they need to be in the same room. Like, there's something very fertile that wants to happen here. And so, yeah, we're going to really think deeply about how to create that kind of collaborative space as well. And yeah, we'll be sharing updates about that. And yeah, we also welcome your ideas, feedback, suggestions. What would you like to see from this very young and fertile and sort of, community that's just starting? So yeah, on that note, we'll close. And again, expressing our deep gratitude for the beautiful artists who shared today: Winter, Junpei and Yoshika, Ida, and you, Sydney. Thank you all. And just everybody who tuned in. And we look forward to staying in touch. Stay tuned to the next salon. And yeah, we have an in-person experience coming up in Turkey, in southern Turkey, at the beginning of July. If you just check out our Instagram, you'll find more info about that. But it is diving into the poetry of Rumi and the practice of Sama, the whirling dance tradition. And so we'll be diving into that for 8 days from July 1st to the 9th. And you are all welcome to join. It's going to be a global community of seekers, very much like each of us. And but rooted in this Sufi practice. So if that interests you, let us know. And take good care. And until next time, we'll see you.
Take care, everyone.
You could come off mute and just say goodbye if you'd like.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye, everybody. This was so beautiful. Thank you for holding this space.
You,
Thank you,
Naz.
Naz.
Naz
Naz
was
was one of our judges.
Bye.
I was so happy to be a judge. The work is so incredible. And I just want to say thank you to all the artists. Everything that was submitted was just so glorious. It was just glorious. It was all glorious. So thank you, everybody.
Naz has a beautiful space, a gallery in New Jersey, US, called The Space. And every month she curates a new selection of art. So definitely check that out if you maybe want to submit some of your art. It's mostly visual art, but it's also multimedia, a lot of different things.
Yeah. We do performances, things like that as well. I would so love for this space to be used for exactly what you spoke of, you know, sort of a beautiful union of the visual, the sound, the performance, the music. I would love to offer the space for something like that, but I know that it's limited to a certain geography in northern New Jersey. We're not far from New York City. We're only about a 40-minute ride from New York City. But yeah, I'll just, you know, put that out there into the universe, and who knows how that might manifest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Naz, I would love to connect with you. I'm an artist doing cosmic multisensory events, and I just did some in Newark, not far from me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. There we go. Yeah, let's talk. Let's connect.
The web weaves.
Yeah, at the Space Montclair on Instagram or online. They have a website, thespaceforart.com, I believe.
Yes, correct. Thank you.
Absolutely. All
If
right.
anyone is coming to south of France, close to Nice, I'm here. We have an association called Eclore where we host workshops, concerts. It's a beautiful house, villa. And I'm here in this region. Anyone coming to Cannes or anyone coming to Nice, you can always connect with me. I'm leaving my address, so you all can find me.
Awesome. That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mansoor, do you want to share something quickly before we close?
Yeah, hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Well, I'm Mansoor. I'm from Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Well, I don't know much about visual art, but after ending a almost 10-year career as a lawyer, I have shifted to study music. So I have that intersection between, let's say, God-made laws of music, quantum physics, and practical physics, and the man-made laws that I studied most of my adult life. I had some sort of an experience a while back, a couple of years ago. So I think you will be seeing me, inshallah, in your future events. I just wanted to say hello, and I appreciate all you do. Salaha.
Thank you,
Assalamu
Mansoor.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Congratulations on, following your heart, making that shift from one career to the next. I think many people can relate to that journey of going on one track and realizing actually something else wants to happen, and the courage that takes. That is very much the path of the artist, and that is also the spiritual path. So the two are not separate. So thanks for sharing. Looking forward to meeting again.
Inshallah.
Yeah, take care, everybody. Much love, and we'll be in touch soon.
Peace to you all.